All right, so we are launched up to YouTube. Yes, we are. Sweet. Let me recap what our plan for today is for the YouTube VOD. We need to track telemetry for vanity metrics like keywords matched, notifications sent, etc. I was considering rolling my own thing, right, and using like a gen server or whatever inside of the, inside of Elixir. But I wonder if it just makes more sense to use OpenTelemetry and Grafana Cloud. So we're going to look at what OpenTelemetry stuff there is available for Elixir, and we're going to consider cloud providers that we can send this shit to, because I think that's useful. Yeah, I have an acoustic bass and an acoustic guitar as well. They just sit in their cases most of these days. I want to get back to recording music. It's just one of those things that, I don't know. It's one of those things I would do when I have, like, when I'm wealthy, you know? Like, I can't necessarily afford to spend too much time just recording music when I should be doing other things like, like I game way too much, so I could cut into my gaming time, and that would be nice. That's probably a decent idea. But, side project and work takes up a big chunk of time. And I gotta have something for, like, the fun stuff, right? I do something fun every once in a while. Honestly, stream does fill that void quite a bit. Oh, Ethan. Good call, Ethan, on the Movember filter on Google Meets. I didn't even know they had one. Holy shit. So I just caught this. I just noticed it. Robert Tables pointed out a thing where he's like, now I need to know where the phrase effing the ineffable comes from, because I just saw it on a slide from NeoVimConf 2024. And I just now, for some reason, noticed that in that slot, in that like screenshot he has, Prime is totally using Stream Parrot. I see the Comic Sans and everything. So yeah, Prime's a dude. Yeah, I just noticed that. That's cool. All right, so let me do this. I'm gonna rinse this. Yeah, we're starting early. Because why not? I'm gonna open this window too. Because it is warm. And then let me just rinse this glass out. Grabbing the soda. not going to be especially cold, but that's fine. And Caleb, how was the meetup? For some reason, my brain's spacing on it, but someone mentioned that they went and checked it out. They got to chat with Scott, which was awesome. All right, let's do the commodity. And yeah, I got to be on that 996 grind. Hell no. It was awesome. Had a good turnout. Ended up staying way after having beers with Steiny until the bar closed at 1 a.m. Yeah, I reached out to Steiny. He did not reply, which I think is fine. Taylor was a no. Interesting. Yeah, so it's not that. I don't know. Just got an interesting email. I'm gonna guess it's related to this. Wait, did I just spell it wrong? Interesting. So they're still a bit early, it seems. Maybe this isn't it. Oh, and yeah, I'm not showing it. Yeah, sorry. I was just looking up a thing. Like, anyone ever heard of Guild AI? Yeah, site deprecated, use GitHub. Interesting. They do mention that it's still in stealth. So that, yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh, man. I keep forgetting to bring my keys in here. So now I gotta use this lighter, and I'm just destroying this lighter. And what's up, Professor Logout? How you doing? Yeah, it makes sense, Caleb. I bet he just saw like the random like cold outreach email and decided to ignore it, and that's fine. I think we may have like a full schedule of content anyway, so it's not even like a stressful push for it anymore. But never hurts to have more content. Just came back from a night out with friends. Tomorrow is vacations. Now you get to do some going stuff. Like on your vacation, you just got like a side project planned? Hell yeah, dude. So yeah, open telemetry Elixir. That's the thing that we're really kind of like focusing on and thinking about right now. Adding some engines and features to IQ. Yeah. And hold on, you mentioned that you published it. Let me just copy and paste it from the Discord, unless you have it handy at the moment. Is that in promote yourself? Oh, cool. And Code Drift is going to be doing some games on his main channel on November 14th. That's awesome. And yes, here's the link. I found the link. It's on GitLab, right? Oh, and you posted it. Yep. See, you did have it handy. Yeah, I would say docs are going to be really important. Like, I would almost focus on docs over features first. Like, you can do whatever you want, but I think the docs are really important. Even if it's just an output of what you have in your, like your go help command, anything like that would be really good. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Go Releaser may not be as documented as you wanted. Hold on. Okay, so that part. Yeah. I mean, it is open source. You could help. But yes, I think you need some solid docs. If I were you, I would focus on at least getting some examples in there, a screenshot, like a screen recording turned into a GIF that you can embed, some of that stuff. I think that would be really, really, really good. And I would put that ahead of other features. But you can do whatever you want. At least like a mention of the license in the README is usually useful. Like it's there, so that's perfect. It's MIT, so that's awesome. But yeah, I want to hype this up, man. I want to spread it around all the socials. But I think you need some docs for it. Just a little bit more in the README would be really nice. Okay. Yeah, I just want to push back and say one thing. You don't need your README to be 100% from the start, right? So, like, you don't need your binaries deployed everywhere from the start. Even just having, like, a quick, here's how to pull it down, here's how to build it kind of thing, right? Just some of that, like, basic stuff. And then as you add the other things, you can add sections to the README instead of, like, oh, this README is this giant thing I got to do now. Right? If you kind of like boil the frog on the README, it's way less effort. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. But like once you add a, like a build for NPM, you can add that section for NPM. But you don't need to hold up the entire thing for the NPM part or whatever, wherever you're going to put it. That would be my recommendation. You can do whatever you want, though. I just think like just a bit more in here would be really nice. And you already have the screen capture, right? So turning that into a GIF should be pretty quick. If you're not familiar with a tool that makes that easy, there is easygif.com. And it kind of helps you like optimize, like, so you can do video to GIF, and then once the GIF is in there, you can start optimizing the GIF for like file size and stuff if you care. Just throwing that out there. I've used EasyGIF for a lot of my emotes and stuff. Like a Schema and their GIF converter. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's probably fine then. I'd say that's totally good. I just wanted to make sure. But even then, maybe consider optimizing the GIF later if it ends up being pretty big. Oh, and hold on. Sorry there, Bedro. And yeah, real quick. Taco Bandit, you out there still, Mr. Sir? I'm sorry it took me so long to respond to that. Thank you so much for the sub. 42 months? That's the best fucking number. That's the best number. Six, seven's gonna get there eventually, maybe, but still not better than 42. Yeah, not even 420 Tech Brew, it's 42. The answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything. I just got to figure out what the question is. And no, it is not how many roads must a man walk down. Wait, what about 1984? So, G-Bone, do you know why the year in the book 1984 was picked in as 1984? He just took the 42 from 1942 when he wrote the book and doubled it. Yep. No big science behind it. I always liked that bit of trivia. All right, let me get more music on. It's a hot dog, a sandwich. I believe the answer is yes, as long as you consider hoagie proper sandwich material. Right? Right, it's a topology question. So when you look at other things that are considered sandwiches, then yes, it qualifies. Like a meatball sub. Yeah, if a meatball sub counts, hot dogs count too. All right, so yeah, what we're doing right now is we are looking at no, again. So coding with Caleb, is a Philly cheesesteak a sandwich? Because Philly cheesesteaks are not sliced all the way through. It's a hoagie. If a hoagie is a proper container for sandwich materials, then ipso facto, a hot dog is also a sandwich. Okay, so that is where we could get into a debate about the semantics of whether a hoagie roll is a sandwich or not, or is a proper container for a sandwich. And topology-wise, yeah, I could actually get behind the fact that it's a wrap, right? Yeah. If we're going to really talk about topology, yeah, that could be a thing. I would simply say it doesn't qualify as a wrap because wraps need to be like folded over, right? So a burrito is a wrap, right? So it would mean basically that wraps don't have an opening until they're bitten into. But Taco Bandit, 2 pieces of bread, that means a hoagie is not. Yeah, if topology is the only concern, then yes. But it's not the only concern. Right? So that's where the debate comes through. And, maybe we just won't do it. Really, Taco Bandit? You're going to do like a Philly cheesesteak cut all the way through? That sounds like just a mess waiting to happen. Why? Why would you do that to yourself? A meatball sub you would cut all the way through? Why would you do that to yourself? Sub sandwiches, subs in general, are not cut all the way through. Right? Go to a Subway. They don't cut it all the way through. But it is a sub sandwich, right? Now, if you asked them to, they would cut it all the way through for you. I don't know. That's why the debate will never be fully settled, but it's definitely worth discussing. Taxonomies are interesting. Oh, that's also interesting. We're definitely on the latest, but for some reason it's still giving us this like 1.6.0 go to latest, which is questionable. And yeah, half wrap. You mean like early Linkin Park? Yeah. Here it says 1.7 just fine. Here in the URL it says 1.7, but then right here, this part didn't update properly. Yeah, you like that Linkin Park joke? Felt good about that. That was right there in the moment. I'm proud of that. Such a vibe in here? Damn right. Yeah, I like it too. You could have tortillas containing stuff that have one end open. Is that not a wrap? I see what you're saying. Like, you just don't fold like the other end. Sure. And again, yeah, topology-wise, actually, topology-wise, I would say it's not quite the same. If you're talking about the open end, technically a hot dog has two open ends. The best kind, Robert Tables. I disagree on that one. Because the hot dogs, like, the ends are on the sides. I know not necessarily from a topology standpoint, but from a semantic standpoint, right? From, like, a practical standpoint. Like, topology can't be the end-all, be-all. We have to use common sense as well. And hot dogs have both ends open as well as the top. Right? I don't know. I think it's a fun conversation, at least. Hey, hell yeah, Robert Tables. I've never actually done any of it. When I got my wisdom teeth removed, they gave me something. It started with an R. And I just never took it. And then they disappeared because I'm pretty sure my younger brother and his junkie girlfriend took it. Back when, yeah, back when they were not the greatest. But yeah, like, I'm not into painkillers. I might have taken some ibuprofen. But I actually just vaporized a bunch of weed. Like, you know, like, you don't want to dry socket, you know, the holes where, like, the wisdom teeth were removed. And I only had the bottom two. But my dad had a vaporizer, so I just took, like, the tube with the end of the vaporizer, and I just did that through the nose. So I was properly baked, you know? I wasn't, like, raw dogging the pain. I just prefer marijuana for pain management. And it's not even like it makes the pain go away. It just makes you able to, like, cope with the pain better. It's kind of crazy. No, and I get you. Dude, again, I'm not trying to compare wisdom teeth with a hip. Like, that's not even close to the same thing. So yeah, dude, no. You do what you gotta do. I just pointed out that I've never done an opioid-based pain medication. That's all. Like, I've broken both my collarbones, didn't go to the doctor for it. Because fuck it, it's a collarbone. It'll set, it'll heal on its own. Fuck it. Shoulder dislocations, AC separations, just smoke a bunch of weed and you're good. Wisdom teeth, vaporize some weed through the nose, you're good. The constipation, yeah, I could believe that. I could totally believe that. Again, I don't know. I've never done it. But I'm like a home pooper. I don't like to poop away from home. So there are times where, like, I'm away from home for a bit. And I got to drink some coffee to get things flowing regularly again. Which is why I don't drink coffee any other time. Because I want to use coffee as basically like a pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical grade caffeine. Yeah, exactly. No, that's a big thing, actually. People who have been drinking a lot of coffee and then quit end up becoming constipated because coffee makes that shit flow. Literally. Cigarettes as well. People who are quitting cigarettes, the constipation is a big thing that gets them too. If If you're quitting coffee and cigarettes at the same time, you might not poop for a month. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Yeah, it's a two-player swing. But hold on. So, Hitman. It's your first project, and your biggest pain point is discernment from what's really possible using DevOps like that. Hold on. So, did I miss another comment? Here you go. You need help with your program, but you don't have any money to bootstrap. You're using VS Code, integrated it to a local MCP, GCP, Firebase GenKit, Playwright, Claude for Code, GitHub Copilot Actions in IDE. Yeah, you don't need money for any of that shit. So what's your question? Yeah, just use GitHub Actions. You're done. Hitman, is it the coffee or is it the milk? It's the coffee. Milk actually will stop you up. If you drink way too much milk, you will be constipated. Unless you're lactose intolerant. Too much milk and too much dairy in general will absolutely stop you up. Hmm. You may be mildly lactose intolerant there, Ken. Yeah. We have a zero tolerance policy for intolerance. Your question is, are you actually making a real app? We don't know what your app is, but yeah, sounds like it is to me. Like, get less concerned about what the app is made of and more concerned with, does it solve a problem? That's an app. Now, yeah, exactly there, Caleb. Yeah, no worries, man. We'll see you around. You're gonna have nightmares about pooping tonight. I guarantee it. Shit terrors. Nah, doesn't quite flow. Robert Tables, you just stole that from the movie Van Wilder. Nothing like a college film and making crimes funny. It's a tale as old as time. All right, so yeah, open telemetry stuff. What about them? Like, do you have an actual question? So basically, Hitman, no offense to you, but in general, it's a bad interview technique to ask such an open-ended question. Right? In general, if you're going to ask, what do you think about something? My answer is always going to be, it's fine, because there's no context to the question. You need to ask a question that has like a pointed bit of context to get better answers out of people. Right? If you're just trying to start conversation, the person has to actually care about the thing that you're trying to start conversation. I don't specifically care or not care about Apple automations and shortcuts, unless you have a context in which I might actually care. What do you think about the internal combustion engine? It's fine. You know, like, now if you wanted a better thing, like, what do you think about an inline six versus a V6? That actually has a bunch of context to it. Right? The inline six is a simpler engine, so it's easier to work on. I believe the V6 has more power. But yeah, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, Hitman. I'm just saying, like, if you want to get better answers out of people, the more context, the better. Without making it an essay. It's fine. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm not necessarily seeing how I would send metrics. Like, where are the functions for this thing? Yeah, see, that's kind of shit. Like, I don't even see logs getting supported in here. We just see resource, the sampler, and spans. I don't give a shit about spans. I don't care about traces. I might eventually, but no. Yeah, I mean, we could consider Sentry. I know they fucking hate open telemetry. Or at least Zeeg does. I forget his real name. I only need one user. 5,000 errors is a bit meh. 5 million spans? Okay. Yeah, I probably won't need to go beyond that. No, I mean, I've hit the 5,000 errors thing before, and it was really annoying. I don't think so, Robert Tables. I know Zieg is heavily outspoken against open telemetry. Like, they might support it just because he likes money, but he is a very outspoken hater of open telemetry. Is Sentry like Jam? I'm not familiar with Jam. Sentry started out as purely error tracing and error monitoring. This was their bread and butter. Yeah, I was trying to avoid the custom gen server. Yeah, I get it, Tech Brew. It's just, I don't need what Posthog and Sentry are doing. I just want to send metrics to some cloud. And I want the SDK to handle batching the requests of updating those metrics, you know? I find it odd that this is such like a pain in the ass to find something that supports what I need. No, this is Sentry is not Jam. Maybe they have something that competes, but I don't know. I understand Brainless. Yeah. I was hoping that some SDK or tool has that batching set up for us, which is really what an open telemetry SDK would have. Like, I would assume that this is doing that batching for us. I just didn't want to write the batching logic myself, because I find that stuff way harder to test. I find the gen server less deterministic. So I'd rather have someone else write that logic, and then I can just decide where to send it. I'm not sure what you're asking, Hitman. Those are not the kind of metrics I'm talking about. That's our plan for today. Hotel supports batching with Jaeger. I understand that, but I don't care about traces. That's the problem there, Marvel Scorpion. I don't give a shit about traces. Not my problem, not my concern right now. And it seems to me that the open telemetry module for Elixir is basically only traces and spans. They have nothing in here about metrics, so it's not even useful to me. And I just find it strange that this isn't a solved problem. Like, Elixir isn't that new. Hitman, it has nothing to do with Apple. This is running on my server. My server does not run on Apple. Again, read what I just sent with that today command. It says the types of metrics I actually care about. I make that today command so I don't have to keep repeating myself all day. So maybe that's why it's not supported, right? Because technically metrics are still part of the experimental phase, right? They're like in development. Oh, and I guess, no, they're not experimental, they're in development. But they're not stable. So I can understand why it's maybe not part of SDKs yet. It's kind of annoying. All right, hold on. Let me double check. I'm planning to show these metrics on the marketing site. Again, Professor Logout. Right? Vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are almost always for marketing. I want to show X million things handled, X million keywords matched, blah, 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 right? Vanity metrics. And what's up, Witch? How you doing? Doing all right. Trying to figure out how to do this thing without having to write a bunch of shit myself. But it isn't Professor Logout. The batching of sending the metrics events and all that stuff means I have to write a gen server to do the batching because I don't want to hammer the database, right? So I'd want to batch these things. Rolling it myself is not the easiest thing to do if we want to do it right. All OpenTelemetry collectors and everything do that batching for you. But this is the biggest problem I have with the Elixir Erlang ecosystem. There's a lot of shit that just doesn't exist. But if I was doing this in Node.js, we'd have it. We'd be done. Erlang Elixir does a lot of stuff right, but the community does not open source nearly enough shit. No, I don't know anything about game dev. I may know something about game dev, but I don't want to fucking talk about it right now. We're doing other stuff. Which TV? Yeah, it's looking like I'm just going to have to write this shit myself. So Sentry does have an SDK. And it does look like they do support open telemetry in some way. Zeke just hates it. That's all. But like, finding any of this shit in here is not that fun. And yeah, they just don't have anything related to metrics. I do want to do Sentry for error logging eventually. Like, that's a task we have elsewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we can do it via the hotel stuff. So we might as well just do it all locally to the database. But we needed to do the discovery. I just fucking hate writing gen servers myself. They're just non-deterministic. Right? Inspecting into them at their current state is a pain in the ass. But yeah, I think it's just the way we have to do it. Really annoying, though. All right, so here's a question, Brainless and anyone else out there that does Elixir stuff. Is there any utility that makes gen servers simpler? Right? Like writing your own gen server? Just all this boilerplate. Like this feels so overly boilerplatey, right? Let me get more music going. So it does reduce the boilerplate a little bit. Let's double check how we're doing this. And I forget, what's the difference between call and info? I think info fires for everything, right? Whereas call is for a specific thing. Right here, they're doing like def call because it's probably some macro that Gen server or Stone provides. Whereas instead, this is like the Gen server function we'd do. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think Stone is worth it. Like, where can we see the source code? Yeah, I don't like the fact that he doesn't even link to the source code. Yeah, so we're not going to use Stone. I don't think we need a dependency for that. Call is synchronous, cast is async. Info handles arbitrary messages. Oh, okay. I think I misunderstood that. Okay. See, I like the way he does this, right? Stateful Elixir processes, like gen servers, are sort of like objects, and then, yeah. Well, actually, right? So under the hood, it's not an object, but to a consumer of a gen server, it's basically an object, right? Yeah, exactly, Brainless. So yeah, test the public interfaces, test the public functions. Changing a def p to a def is fine for TDD, but before you commit, make sure you have a higher level test in place so that you can make the function once again private. Sure. And am I actually going to be testing this? Probably not. But I still want to write the code as if I could test it. Ooh, Gary Bernhardt reference. Yep, the functional core and the imperative shell. Yep. Dude, that's such a fantastic talk. If you guys haven't seen it. Destroy all software. His best talk of all time is this Birth and Death of JavaScript, where he predicted the entire awesome future that we're living in right now. Not completely his prediction yet, but it will be eventually, which is really cool. But the talk they were referencing is, I believe, boundaries. Yeah, the functional core imperative shell. Yeah, exactly. So, just in case, y'all should be watching all of these conference talks. WAT just because it's funny, and it's 5 minutes. But Whole New World, Boundaries, and Birth and Death of JavaScript, some of the best talks ever given. I don't quite remember the ideology one, though. I'll have to watch that one again. Yeah, so he just goes into basically just good testing practices. What can OOP teach us about testing and design? Yeah. There are some like specific nuggets in here that are actually like Elixir specific. But I would say the general ideas in here are actually just general testing practices. Which I don't know. I kind of consider myself aware of enough that I don't know if I'm getting that much value from this. Yeah, all systems have state. You can't avoid this. Every system has state, every system has side effects. If it doesn't have side effects, it probably doesn't do anything useful. Right? Even in like the simple case of something like grep, the output of grep logging to your terminal, that's technically a side effect. A user interacting with your application is a side effect. I'm aware of very, very, very few things that are useful that don't have any side effects. There was a really good article. What was it? Was it for Cycle.js? Yes, it was Cycle.js. Yes, this like dialogue abstraction and like the flow between the human and the computer, right? Like you can't avoid side effects. The human is a side effect in this context. Now, it definitely gets a little, like, terminology heavy, but it's still really cool stuff. I wonder what Andre Staltz is doing these days. An off-the-grid social network? What? Okay. Oh, wait, no, I clicked the wrong thing. Brain fart. Okay, so he works at Socket. Oh, Socket. Okay, yeah, they do good shit. Oh, this is good. All right. Yeah, man. He needs to be way more active. Soon after AGI, we will see the rise of ASI, artificial shit intelligence. AGI is artificial garbage intelligence, just absolutely useless walls of text that are simultaneously presumptuously confident and quick to admit its mistakes over and over as you prompt for more garbage. Curious, have you tried O3 for questions or Opus 4 thinking for coding? That's where I was the most impressed so far. Just a very simple LOL. Hell yeah, dude. That's good. All right. I am absolutely following Andre Staltz. Oh, I didn't know he worked on RxJS. Yeah, I remember Cycle. Never got a chance to use Cycle for anything. But the ideas were really good. Right? Like this right here. Even if you never use Cycle.js, just understanding the human-computer interaction model that Cycle was trying to promote, and similar to Haskell, yeah, a little bit. This explains so much more about the Elm architecture than a lot of Elm's docs ever did. So yeah, just once again, this is a great way of thinking about the model between the human and the computer. So yes, am I just dragging my feet? Guess I don't want to implement another gen server, but I'm going to have to. Yep. So here's my next question. And where do we see state? Okay, yeah, so we define the module of what our state is. Yeah, we're going to take all this boilerplate. It's a semester course in some CS grad schools. Oh, I bet. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. But it breaks it down really well. Like, maybe it's just enough to get you started thinking about that stuff, but it's really cool. And honestly, this is probably a good start to giving you, like, terms, or not this, sorry, wrong thing, right? This is a good start But if you really want to dig into it, the Elm white paper is probably useful too. Oh, no, not how Elm invests. Fuck that shit. Did I just type white paper wrong? What is it? Functional concurrent GUIs? Concurrent FRP for functional GUIs. This is it. So this was also a very impactful, I believe this was like his like senior thesis kind of thing. It's 47 pages. I actually read through this whole damn thing. And this is back in 2012. I would bet money that this heavily inspired the creation of React. Or if not, at least they were being developed around the same time from the same other inspirations. So if you really, really want to get into functional reactive GUI programming, you will probably understand way more about React after reading this than you would reading any of React's actual documentation. Right? The whole Flux architecture in React is derived from how Elm does the top-down data flow. If you don't remember, before React was doing that, you had things like Ember and AngularJS doing their like digest cycle kind of bullshit. Instead of just like a single pass. All right, let me grab another soda though. And yeah, do I want to drag my feet some more? Yeah, sure. We'll check out your thing. Give us the link again, or I could go find it. But I do have to pee because I broke the seal. So give me a sec. Grab some more ice cubes. Okay. I'd still show the GIF in here. They support GIFs, don't they? Yeah. Like, do not trust a Schema. I've been burned by a Schema before as well. Like, a thing I linked to disappeared because they did some rewrite or some bullshit. I would absolutely recommend exporting the Schema GIF and have that right here. But again, do whatever you want. Up to you. It should be a fairly small GIF because the colors aren't that crazy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You recorded that video, though. Just take a slice of that video and put it out to EasyGIF. And then you're done. But maybe a project for tomorrow. I get it. All right, so yeah, we're going to start building out this gen server. Oh, it's fine, man. Yep. Yeah, happy to help. I really like what you've done. Ooh, and yeah, you should definitely consider getting it up on Homebrew and NPM. Like, but I get it. Like, you know, you just did what you have now because you still want to work on the other stuff. So I get that. But yes, as far as like from a user's perspective, Homebrew on a Mac, massive. Right? And then you could basically get rid of this entire like quarantine section. NPM, just really nice for like cross-platform shit like Windows. But I guess technically you end up needing these things installed. So yeah, like, yeah, that's the tricky bit. Because yeah, you're just proxying to their binaries. I'd almost see like if it's possible to compile JQ and YQ and maybe even grep to WASM. And then you could just bundle that shit. It bloats it, but puts you on the hook for updating them. Sure, I get that, but that sounds like something you could easily automate. To me, that sounds like a daily cron job, kind of like CI/CD process. And if you're looking for that kind of practice, well, then that's some really good practice for you for like the CI/CD stuff. Yeah, I mean, you do whatever you want. I think it's really cool already. I'm just thinking about the end user. Do you at least error out in a way that lets them know they need to install these things if they don't exist? That would be like an easy first step. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, let me know when you're ready for me to hype this up then. Because I do want to hype it up a bit. All right. Okay, sure. All right, so I'm going to create a new folder here at the top. We're going to call it metrics, lowercase though. And yeah, my question to you, Professor Logout, right? Like, how quickly do you think YQ and JQ are updating, you know? Like being on the hook to update when they update? It's probably like a once a year thing. Yes, we don't need platforms. Yeah, let's start gutting some of this stuff. We are going to have a state module. So what we're going to do here is notifications sent. Starts out as 0. I'm going to start that at 0. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mid-afternoon light meal. You call it onces. Interesting. Oh, it's actually probably like onces. Yeah. Which means 11s, right? Once, doce, trece, catorce, quince, cientense. It's not cientense. That's a different thing. Sorry. I'm just remembering Spanish class. I forget what 16 is. Shit, I forget 18 as well. Niense is 19. Bente is 20. But yeah, I forget 16, 17, and 18. Yeah, shit. Well, I failed Spanish class this time. Oh, is it? So maybe I had 19 wrong too? No, 18's the only one that's like the DAC Ocho, right? Whereas the others have the say ending. Oh, 16 to 19 are different? Okay. DAC 6, DAC. Yeah, okay, yeah, now that's right. DAC 9. Yeah, you're right, you're right. Yep. It's been over 20 years since I took a Spanish class. The fact that I remembered even a little bit feels pretty good. But hold on. Scheduling too much work in a gen server. Okay, that's a solid photo. Yeah, I think we don't want to deal with process.sleep. Right? We want to do the call after thing, which we're already doing in our boilerplate. So yeah, I don't think any of the stuff that they're pointing out here matters to what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah. Let me double check what we have in our linear thing. So, notifications sent. I think keywords tracked in user teams, those are just things that we can query on our own. But keywords matched to events and messages seen and notifications sent. So our state is going to be a bit more than this. So events seen blue sky. I think this is better than... This is better than tracking like a gen server per platform or per metric. I'm okay maintaining this struct. It's actually kind of a small struct, considering. Now, the registry. Where are we even defining the registry? It's mailer, batching. Maybe the registry is automatic. Yeah, so I don't think we need a registry for this. It's just going to be the one gen server. And hold on, let me double check this. So you just got a nice idea from a friend. Once you get this on the package managers, you should be able to add deps on YQ, JQ, and others to ensure they're available to the user. Seems the better way as opposed to bundling. Sure. I would say that may not be the case on like NPM, right? Like, I don't know if YQ and JQ are on NPM. Whereas instead, if you're vendoring those dependencies, you can compile them into whatever you need for whatever platform. I'm thinking about the NPM user. And maybe you don't care about the NPM user, and that's fine. Then problem solved. But I really do think NPM and being able to do like an NPX, IQ, whatever, would be really cool. So NPX, I doubt you're going to lock down IQ as like a namespace. So think about the namespace you'd want to put it under. But maybe the NPM thing just doesn't matter. Yeah. All right, so then what about making the platform just a key in a map? That way it won't need to be updated in the future. No matter what, it'll have to be updated in the future. Because I'm going to have to handle whatever key I'm doing and then save that to a database. I don't like the idea of storing this stuff as like a JSON field in the database. So I'm going to have to know what platforms I support anyway. But what does it actually save me, Brainless? If I have to know what platforms I support to save it to the database, why not just make the struct be explicit? Like, that level of dynamism doesn't help me. If I'm going to have to make those steps anyway, it's not saving me anything. It's just a layer of indirection. Like, look at it this way, Brainless. If I do it as this, like, big struct, I get way better, like, type completion and stuff from the language server. By making it dynamic, I lose all of that. And for what gain? Because I'm still going to have to know what I support to save it to the database. So yeah, I don't think that abstraction is actually valuable. Right now, I have 5 notification types. Each function will need to have those written implicitly. I think you mean explicitly. But it could also just be a loop. But you have no strong preference. I mean, we could still loop. But we're not going to do that. Like, what is the access pattern going to be? Right? Like, what would the access pattern be? It would be, we're sending the notification from email, and we just send that as a key that we merge with the existing struct. So then we get the dynamism, but it's also explicit. Like, I don't have to pass the entire struct every time. I can just merge the one prop I want to set with the existing state. At least as far as I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm wrong once we get into the implementation, but I don't know. I just don't think that level of dynamism has value. Which one ends up being more future-proof when types get better? All right, so we can give this a name, I think. No, they hate that. So I don't want to do this by path. So it's module, the init arg, and I don't actually think we need the init arg. So hold on. I think this start link is just something that I set elsewhere. Because we only want one of this gen server. We're not going to be doing it based on path. Oh, and hold on. Mismatched delimiter. That's what they were complaining about. And that's the thing that you were recommending there, right? What is that argument? They're thinking this is the initial arg? They definitely want the array. Does this basically equate to, like, empty? Is that, like, the equivalent of the empty value? Yeah, but in this case, what is it doing? Is it just filling in for an empty value? Okay. All right, so when we initialize with that state. So then reset to empty. When do we want to do that? Yeah, there you go, brainless. Right, when you start looking at RVs that cost more than a fucking house. Yeah. Right, like you could just buy an apartment, you know? So I forget what this handle info is for, right? So we get the message and the current state, and this is where we're destructuring the current state. I'm not sure this handle info is fully necessary. Like this would be the one that resets us back to like the initial state, basically, right? Yeah, no worries, log out. Yep, have a good night. We'll see you again soon. Now, so the one that we're going to do is going to be, right, like this batch send event. And then we just call this function, which is batch send, and that's going to be like reconcile to database. So then once we've done that, that's where we reset. So I'm not sure this like reset to empty is necessary. Oh, but this is where we call the send after. That's right. Never mind. Now I remember. Oh, that's fine, brainless. But no, so this reset to empty, that's where we're sending this through. And I don't necessarily care about the when events is empty and not nil. I don't think we need that. Now this state, this is actually just current state. I could do it with one that calls itself. Got it. Oop. Yeah, so this case statement, unnecessary. Right, so then batch send is fetch current DB metrics, update DB metrics by adding state values. So on the init, I call the handle function. So you're saying this part where I'm doing the send after, I would just move this into the init? But then I'm not handling like restarting, right? Like if I just call send after in here, oh, you're saying I leave this in here, but instead of batch send. But what I'd want to do here is like, this is where I'd want to reset the state. But you're saying I could reset the state in here. I'm not sure that would work that way because what I'd be doing here is this would be resetting that state. So then by the time that send after happens, do we even have state? Oh, and wait, you just mentioned Whiskerwood, right? Because it just went on sale. I just got the email saying that. $47 reviews. Holy shit. It does look like a good game. Yeah, yeah, I get that part. Let me get more music going though. Oh, is there an ink? Oh, hold on. Oh, that is nice actually. Nah, good call. Oh, yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, good call. How fast do we think it is? Like, could I just ignore the gen server and just naively increment everything? It's probably not the right way to do it. Right? Like, yeah, at 500 requests a second. Right? Hmm. That's really not a bad idea. It would massively simplify what we're doing. Okay, so if I were to do that, let's look at doing this the naive way first. What's up, Amillenite? How you doing? I'm going to comment this whole thing. Yep, no worries, Brainless. Yeah, all right, so let's consider this. Do the Doppler thing. And we're going to generate a migration. The migration is going to be called create vanity metrics. Oh, wrong folder. Not what I wanted. All right, so create vanity metrics. Part of the change is create table, vanity metrics. It's just going to be a single row in the table. And then as we need to add more, we just add them. feel like this is going to be faster if we use a hard-coded key as like the primary key versus a key per event, right? So like a row per event. Like no matter what, there's going to be a where clause. There's not going to be enough items in the table for it to matter. If I do it this way, we get a little bit of type safety for the single row that we're going to have. Whereas if we did it as like the alternative would be or metric string value integer, right? The metric value thing would be more dynamic, which means we could like add more ones in the future without a migration, which would be kind of nice. Like another way we could do it is we could create a module that has like lookup functions for all of these. So then like the dynamic metric name would at least be like type safe according to that module that we create. And we would get good completion from the language server. It does really seem like putting it all in one row might be the wrong way. You're saying like I could do the enum for the type right here? So I know that would give us type safety at the database level, maybe. But I don't think we'd get that type safety at the like auto completion level. Whereas if we had the metric names as its own module for lookups, we would have some type safety for that. And when I'm talking about that, let me find platforms. I don't remember where I put that now. It's got to be over in utils. Yeah. Oh, so let's just get platform name. It's not quite what I was thinking. Yeah, because I don't think this gives us actually any like safety for that. So that's not as useful. Hmm. Ooh, damn. T3 chat's forcing a login immediately. They don't allow any unauthenticated usage anymore. Is this thing bleeding them dry? I think it might be. So yeah, it's a trade-off for flexibility. I do expect I would probably just fetch all of these at once. I would most likely even put the data here into a thing that the marketing site would be able to read without any authentication. But that would be fetched so rarely that it's probably not a big deal. So maybe we want to call this global vanity metrics. And then eventually we could consider like organization level vanity metrics. Yeah, and I'm okay with migrations for adding other fields. Yeah, so when would we need to start squashing migrations? Yeah, dude, we're not even close to like 100 of these yet either. Yeah, so regardless of the total migration count, it's probably going to be fast enough. Yeah, so I don't think the amount of migrations is a concern for us yet. And then at some point we could squash that shit. Yeah, I like that idea. Let me go pee. I'll be right back. Gotta use the restroom. All right, and I'm back.
You're probably right. Yeah, I don't think I need timestamps. Brainless, you launched the new game. You're talking about the Whisker, whatever? Cool, man. What do we think the right way of enforcing? Sorry for the burp. What do we think the right way of enforcing the single row is? Yeah, so we'll do this. Nah, I don't care about the daily or monthly. I just want total. At least for now. But I do like the idea of setting this up in a way that we could theoretically do it in the future, where we wanted to add daily, monthly, whatever. And I missed some follows. Catman and Easy Peasy. Thank you for the follows. Welcome. Yeah, so the primary key for this is not going to be a type ID. We're not going to have foreign keys, so that doesn't matter. Um, I feel like, hold on. What's the way to set like a constant string value? But I want to expose it publicly so I can use it for lookups. I think this is the way we have to do it, right? Are module attributes public? That's the main thing I'm wondering. Like, would I be able to read the module attribute elsewhere? Yeah, at which point, like, I could just do this, right? Like, why do I even need the module attribute? Right? Instead of that, maybe it's like more like all time. Like if I have to create a function to return the module attribute, what's the point of the module attribute? Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, what's up, Allie? How you doing? I'm gonna be in New York for JS Nation and React Summit. I think I'm trying to go to like a comedy show the Saturday before it on what is it, the 15th, I think. That's not a bad idea, Brainless. That's a good call. Yeah, I think a couple viewers and some people are joining me for the comedy show on Saturday. You're more than welcome to join if you want, Allie. No stress if not. It'll probably be at Gotham Comedy Club, I think. I guess here's the big thing in doing an insert when we do this, right? Like I'm doing a def change. Can I do a def up in the same migration and they both get called? Or do I have to opt for one or the other? Like if I was going to do the insert Brainless, I'd want to do the insert on an up. Does insert get reverted inside of change? And I don't think it does, right? Yeah, I don't think it does. Can I have a change and an up in the same migration, or do I need a separate migration? Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'd almost want to do this as just like a separate migration, right? In the same way that I have create billing tiers as one and then seed billing tiers as a second. Yeah, I like that idea. Wait, I'm hitting the wrong key. Oh. Okay. Invalid input syntax for type UUID. Ah, right. Hmm. Right, and this is because of some global config that we have. Maybe. Huh. There you go, Brainless. Nice. All right, so there's probably something I want to do type ID wise. So I could just hard code this. Remember when we said we might do monthly eventually? Let me get more music on. And what's up, 5-9? Yes, that's Algora. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it thinks that's the prefix. So I don't think I want type ID dot from string. Okay, so that worked. So then if we go look at it, global vanity metrics should have the one row. Yep. And we see zeros for everything. But this is wrong. All right, so then we can create a module. Nope, not that. We'll call it global.ex. Yeah, so yeah, that is definitely incorrect. This is going to be actually no. Why is that yelling? Oh. Has no local return? That doesn't seem right to me. All right, so function call will not succeed. Oh, because it's expecting a change set. So yeah, this is where I want to do a query instead. So what's the right way to dynamically increment this key? Based upon the key that we pass in. Okay, I just need to wrap it. That makes sense. Yeah, and that's what you said too. I just want to double check. Okay. All right, let's skip that song. Okay. Update all-time vanity metric. I think is actually what it is. And then theoretically, there could be one that is multiple. Okay. I think the one thing I want to change though is this is going to be metrics. And we'll just call those global. Which means we do need to update where we're referencing that. I think the name of the table's fine. And let's fix it. So hold on. Roll back the 1, and then this value. Oh, wrong place. And then we'll rename those migrations as well. Create metrics global. All right, and then let's migrate again. Oh, and I broke everything. Ah, shit. Yep. All right. So there we go. We got those fixed. So metrics global. I think it's a better name. That way we can group it together with other metrics later. I'm going to rename this to metrics, and this is Messijo.metrics now. Okay, yeah, I like this a bit more. Let me confirm with James and Worm. All right, so Wormbane's in. If we're doing the bang for the one, yes. Oh, this one didn't have it, though. Oh, but update all doesn't have a bang? Oh. Not sure we need update all. Oh, but update is for a struct. Oh, right, right. Yeah, that's annoying. All right. Good call. All right, so it at least compiles. All right, so match and notify. But hold on. Metrics.global. Messijo.metrics. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we don't necessarily get nearly as much type safety as I kind of wanted. Clean up some of this stuff I don't need. All right, so yeah, then we'll do that. And I like the idea of keeping it all here in like the match and notify endpoint. Or not endpoint, but function. Um, Actually, when we send that one would be separate. So for email and SMS, we wouldn't do that. But for this one, and really, I could do this in the payload prop part. I like the idea of splitting it out, though. Oh, and we're missing this from the webhook case. Shit. All right. Can I do a when clause? It's basically, I want like when we're matching on notification.type, we get webhook here. I want to make sure that the webhook has actually been validated. Now I could just do an if. I think that's probably the right way. I'll just wrap it in an if. But the tuple doesn't apply to all the others. Nah. Nope. Wouldn't count. That does mean that I might not be handling this part here, though. Yeah, so I've actually got a bug there. And I know they're going to complain about this, like, if not is nil. Oh, they're not even complaining about that part. Interesting. All right, so yeah, that was actually a bug that we had that I hadn't noticed yet. So we got that fixed at least. Now, theoretically, yes, we need to refresh this. And it's metrics global, prestige worldwide. right? So this number is going to increment pretty damn heavily. But we're seeing events get incremented there. We're not sending any, but that's not really the issue. Now, because we passed integer here, I think I want it to be like a big int. Right? At least for like the total and blue sky. And honestly, since it's only ever going to be one row, we could just make all of them big int, because it's not going to be that much extra data. Where do we see like the list of types that are allowed in Echo? I know I've seen it before. I don't think it's on this page. Yeah, so we just see integer. So it's in the migration that we care about it. Okay. Right. Yeah. All right. So I feel like this is okay. I think the next step is we need an endpoint for fetching that data. We don't really have like a meta endpoint yet. I guess stats.json? But no, that's specific. I guess we just create... Yeah, I'll let myself stew on this. We'll leave a leaving off. We need to create an endpoint for the global vanity metrics. Then we need to fetch those metrics for the marketing site on build of the docs/marketing site. This would happen in the Cloudflare pages process. And actually, no. Yeah. So I think that's the next step. So that's what we'll end up doing tomorrow. But looks like James and Wormbane are about to be ready for gaming. So we should go find someone to raid. I'm thinking Code Drift is probably going, right? Yeah, so we're going to raid Code Drift. So yeah, we got a good plan for what we want to do tomorrow. And then as far as tasks go, yeah, technically the endpoint we're going to create is also going to be fetching like the amount of users in teams, the amount of keywords being tracked. So yeah, the endpoint's going to be a little bit more than this stuff, right? Like a little bit more than just notifications and keywords matched. And these ones I think is going to be tough. So not sure how to even do that part yet. But then if we go look at what else we're doing, right? Technically this one's in progress. We should have dragged that earlier. Yeah, I think I definitely want to do this, right? Adding the disabled notification types for a billing tier that you're not on. Fixing the duplicate keywords thing. That would be a good one for tomorrow. So yeah, I think we got a good plan. So I'm going to bid farewell to the YouTube. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow, right?